Welcome to HBO Lax. This is Lizzy Pace.
And this is Katherine Dudas.
We are, of course, the two foremost TV experts, pop culture experts. Katherine also knows a lot about birthing videos on YouTube.
I do.
And I know
seek
a
them
lot
out.
about Pokemon Go and The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. And we are also obsessed with all things HBO, especially all things Game of Thrones. And we are recapping House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 7 today.
Oh, Lizzy. I say it every time. But this was the best episode. You know what? It's so interesting. It just came to me. This is the best episode.
I think that is so funny that you come out of here and you're like, this was the best episode. Like, you just have to hand it to it. And I don't think I'm going to be amazed and surprised again and again, but I am. This episode was absolutely bonkers.
So bonkers. They went there. This is just good fucking Game of Thrones writing. This is long scenes. This is the episode. If last week was the episode of A Million Children, this is the episode of long scenes, which is very interesting. A different approach.
Long scenes with like so many different people in them and so much different eye contact. I had to keep rewinding. And also, during this episode, I thought my television was broken for a very long time. And that's why it took me a really long time to do this. And the last time that happened was Sopranos finale.
Yes.
Nothing has made me think something is wrong with my TV. So is that a good choice? Is it not? We'll get into it.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. I truly, let's just get into it because I can't wait to talk about it all.
Rhaenyra and Laenor have moved their children to Dragonstone. We see Harwin and Lionel Strong were killed by Larys's bee army. And we see the first shot, a rope being tied. A seahorse flag. It is the funeral for Lady Lena at the seaside. This gorgeous shot of, like, have you ever seen a prettier funeral?
It was, honestly, I was so mad I wasn't invited. I was like, everyone was invited and I wasn't. I was like, this is the event of the season. Very sad, but.
Absolutely. Very sad. Rhaena is clutching her granddaughters and one of them has space buns in this episode, which I really enjoyed. Otto, we see him graze something on his shirt. He's back as the hand. He's back, baby. He did it. My God. I had to rewind that part too. I was like, wait. I was like, oh, okay, he's back. Oh yeah, okay, he's back. Let's do it. And the Master of Ceremonies is talking about how they have their salty sea blood running thick. Ours must never thin. And I'm like, what is going on here? Are they shading the bastard children again?
Yep. I think that's why Damon laughed, right? Damon did like a laugh.
Yeah, Damon laughs.
Yeah.
Aegon is so bored. Just one 4-second of young Aegon like makes me laugh so hard. He's like yawning. And I'm just like, you get so much from that. Laenor is very sad and they dump the coffin in the sea. And in this like underwater, like Titanic dropping the necklace shot we see, and the coffin, like, it looks like it hits other coffins.
We have a nice little dissolve fade into some dragons flying. And we get to the mingling part of the funeral, like that, like, like where there's good food and everyone's drinking and you're trying to like not hook up with your cousin. And like, this is how
everyone's trying to figure out which of their relatives they're going to hook up with.
Exactly. I don't have any cousins.
It's basically the after party.
Yeah. So this is what I assumed funerals are like when you had a big family. I did not have one, but in this case, people are looking to fuck their cousins. So that's huge. Rhaenyra walks in and is we're following her push through like all of the characters we've met, and she goes up to her son Jace. And tells him, which is I think very sweet, and like tells him like you're your cousins could use a nice word. And he's very much like, oh, I had to rewind this part. I was like, because I couldn't quite hear him, and he was like, well, what about our sympathies? And I was like, oh, right, he's mourning his father. And he again comes close to blowing the secret. He keeps, and you gotta tip this, tight lip here, Jace.
Every episode, someone's doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you think we should be with at Harwin and Lionel's funeral?
It's like, no,
and
our kin
here's
is
like,
important.
our kin, yeah. And we see one quick shot of young Helena again. She is with a new creature. It is a creepy spider this time. Writing a poem about it, or
Luna Lovegooding it up. I love.
She's very Luna Lovegood. And we see two versions of Draco Malfoy, Aegon and Aemond, shitting on Luna Lovegood, being like, well, Aegon's like, I don't want to marry her. And Aemond's like, I would. And Aegon's like, she's an idiot.
He's like, what? You wouldn't, what you're saying, you wouldn't marry our sister for the good of the kingdom? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, a very strange convo.
It was a very strange conversation.
And Aegon is getting shit-faced, says, we have one thing in common. We both like creatures with very long legs.
Ew.
I believe this is regarding, like, ladies.
I guess so. I didn't like it. Maybe.
I didn't like it. And we see Helena, she smushes that spider right up after she had serenaded it.
It's very, I don't get her deal, but I cannot wait for her to save everyone. Like I said, I cannot wait for her to be the hero. We're counting down with every scene.
Where do you think she is on the astrology chart?
Oh, fuck. Aquarius. Aquarius for sure.
Aquarius?
Sound off in the comments if you think Aquarius or Libra. Aquariuses are weird. Aquarius and Libras are actually no, probably not Libra. Probably Aquarius. We'll see. Yell at me in the comments if you hate my opinion.
Yell. Probably just her rising. Anyway, Kristan is like, hey, Allison, why is Laris staring at you? And she's like, well, he's the new Lord of Harrenhal. That's probably what's going on with his face.
Wait, can I also say Allison's face? Her face play this episode, insane. The first look of the episodes that she gives to Rhaenyra is like this grossed out. Like she's like, every time she looks at her, it's like she's disgusted and her mouth is open. And I'm like, wow, she's not hiding. It was like Cersei would like hide shit. Not that I'm like comparing, but like she's just like obvious. It's very interesting. I really I enjoy her face.
She's definitely feeling like our Cersei, and in many ways, Cersei, I felt like, was maybe the best character. I feel like Alicent she's really good. This episode is...
I love her,
oh
yes.
God, I can't even believe everything that we've seen.
It's amazing.
We see Jace go and hold the hands of his cousin, Lena's kids, and they're talking about their birthright, of course, because what else do you talk about? They don't have Pokemon Go or Game Boys. And we see Rhaena goes over to her grandkids, hugs them. The kids are contending with the idea of death in this. They're like, well, I don't want to think about my birthright because that means people are dead. Mm-hmm. Aegon's getting drunker. And we see Rhaenyra keeps glancing over at who? Uncle D.
Uncle
Money.
Oh, yeah.
We see, well, who's he looking at? He's looking at Laenor alone crying in the sea over the loss of his sister.
Love how dramatic
Everyone's
this
looking
was.
At everyone, there's so much.
So dramatic. Yes, Laenor, and his dad is pissed. His dad is like, cool, my son is like
leaping into the ocean.
Leaping into the ocean, probably gonna die from because you could die from cold back then. Also, again, in this magical
I
world.
did think he was maybe gonna wander into the sea.
Yes, I thought he put rocks in his pockets. Yeah, his dad, look after your patron, to his boy toy. Get your man.
That was an interesting phrase, your patron.
I know. I was like, it's boyfriend. please stop being homophobic. Please openly acknowledge. Yeah, the patron thing, I rewound that because I was like, I don't know what that means.
We see Viserys talking with Daemon. Viserys is trying to reach out this olive branch. Oh, your girls are the image of their mother. A comfort and an anguish. We can bond over this, that we both lost our wives in childbirth. And he says the gods can be cruel, and David says, seems just like they're especially cruel to you. Roasted. Got him.
Damon just can't give him anything, and it's very,
No.
it's very impressive.
I need nothing. He says at the end of the scene, a great line.
Oh, Damon. You're so hot.
Is that like the most F-boy line you've ever heard?
It
I need
is.
Nothing.
He's so hot.
But you want to
and
fix
him. I do. He's the Jess. In Gilmore Girls, he's Jess. He's.
Oh my God. Of course I love Jess.
Of course. So we're Team Jess. We're Team Damon. Yeah, poor Viserys.
Who was even the other one?
Oh, I know. Dean. Yeah, Dean and Logan.
Also the worst one in Supernatural. I am all.
Yes, that's actually, yeah, that's true.
I watched 11 seasons of that show.
Did you? I didn't really get into it. Oh my gosh. 11 seasons
Anyway.
is so many.
It's so much Supernatural. Anyway, that is interesting.
Anyway, we see after the funeral, we see Aegon freaking drunk AF, hanging out on the stoop, and then his grandfather picking him up quite aggressively.
Picking him up? He kicks the shit out of him and drags him.
Yeah, it's he's a dick. He's a dick.
I was literally like, after we just watched Raina with her grandkids, and then we see this grandfather-grandson moment, it's like, grandparents can be a mixed bag.
They can. It is not gentle parenting.
No, Otto Hightower is not a gentle parenter. I don't think, go put on your mom's dress and go bang that old dude is, gentle parenting.
Yeah. So, yeah, Laenor comes back from almost drowning in grief. And we see Aemond sneak off. Where's he going? He's sneaking off from the group. And then we arrive with Rhaenys and Corlys in this beautiful hall with a great fireplace. Love this scene. Oh, another long scene about, I had to rewind this scene.
I have to rewind us for 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
The physical violence from grandfather to grandson by Otto Hightower was my cringiest moment of the week.
It was cringy. It's like when you see a kid being yelled at the mall and their mom's being so aggressive, it gives you really ick feelings. I support that. But
they are in this beautiful hall, and this begins. The scene is too dark to see.
I was able to see this one.
I literally turned up the brightness on my TV. I tried to reinstall HBO.
Oh, weird.
I was like, what is going on? I Googled this because I was like, every other program looks normal. I saw news articles. Fans are upset over the creative choice of dark scenes in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you were not alone. Yeah, I think because I watched it on my laptop, I guess it was different. Okay, this is not interesting, but I remember when this happened with Game of Thrones, our friend Miles, of my perfect person, or of the Try Guys. Oh, I guess we shouldn't bring up Try Guys right now, but I'm like, plugging Miles with podcast. Anyway, our friend Miles said.
Miles, unrelated to the Try Guys, has a wonderful podcast called Perfect Person. The battle scene.
He said everyone's TVs aren't calibrated the way they made it. Everyone's TVs are calibrated pretty much the same, but if you change your TV settings or something, I don't know.
Well,
anyway, but I'm sorry.
I had mixed feelings about it. I think it's an interesting creative choice, but there was one scene where I felt it was an attack on me. That they
yes,
did.
I can imagine.
It felt like a personal attack.
I think I know the scene. Yes.
But before that, we have this scene with Reyna and Corliss.
Yes. And they're talking about legacy. And Rhaenys just, brings up, is kind of no nonsense about the fact that they know that Rhaenyra's kids are not of their blood.
And she goes hard at him about how he wants legacy, and he says he's doing it for revenge for her being the queen that wasn't, but she doesn't give a shit. She's over it.
Yeah.
She says, the reason they're fighting about this is she wants Driftmark to go to Bela to honor Lena's memory, and he's true Valyrian blood. And Corliss is like, you disinherit our son. You want to cast a darker shadow over this whole situation. And he says, history does not remember blood. It remembers names, and pulls his hand away.
This was a very interesting. It's interesting because in this case, he's so upset. It's like he's trying to keep the patriarchy intact with his insistence that Rhaenyra's kids are his sons. And the father, Viserys, is actually trying to dismantle the patriarchy with the same lie. Thought that was interesting.
Wow. P word goes both ways in this one.
Yeah, because he's like, no, Rhaenyra has to.
We
have to keep this line because Rhaenyra has to be the queen. And yeah, Corliss and Blair, she is, but then she is like, well, why? Let's give it to our our daughter's kid, another daughter.
I was like, this is not what I would want my parents to be talking about if I died by dragon suicide.
That's true, Lizzie. That's if I died by dragon.
Not at all. I would want the convo to be way different.
Yeah, about how great I was and how
wow,
how interesting I was.
Lizzie,
she was great at Pokemon
such good
Go.
Podcast.
She was really good. Her Pokemon Go level was so high.
She's her legacy.
Her legacy. Oh my god, no.
Anyway, we have another dark scene.
Definitely a dark scene between our two faves, our problematic faves, Daemon and Rhaenyra.
Our problematic ship.
Where we find out Rhaenyra. I love this. I actually really loved hearing about Rhaenyra about hearing the backstory of Rhaenyra and Laenor.
Yeah, that they did try to have a kid.
I like that clarification.
About that on this podcast.
Yes, we did. And it's interesting because I think the reason they're giving us this information now is to make us more on Rhaenyra's side, or like they're really trying to because we could have gotten this kind of information sooner, because it was, remember, we even had that frustration about that. We were like, why couldn't they at least try, I don't know, figure it out,
Yeah.
Have another, do a threesome,
exactly. A threesome would have been the best solution.
And Rhaenyra gets to have fun. So
did they not even
No, we should have been there.
I feel like they didn't. I feel like I really get the vibe that they didn't do that.
I know.
When she's like, bring Carl, I'm like, she and Carl haven't been together. Anyway, Daemon and Rhaenyra talk about, she's really opening up to him here, saying that, they banged, but not good banging. She found the good banging elsewhere. And he's like, yeah, I know Harwin liked you. She's like, I trusted him. I shouldn't have let him go back. But I don't think Alicent is capable of cold murder. And Daemon is basically like, yeah, people will do a lot worse shit than you might think.
Oh, Rhaenyra.
For instance, me. And they kind of hint at their relationship when she was a kid, and about their lives right now, and whether Daemon loved Laena, etc. There's a lot they're getting to in this scene.
It is a lot.
And Rhaenyra puts her hand on Daemon, and she says, I'm no longer a child. I want you. And this moment would have been my horniest moment of the week if it weren't so fucking dark. I know we haven't been waiting that long for this hookup scene. But I feel like I've been waiting a lot for it, and I had a lot. My emotional state going into this was a lot, and I couldn't see it.
No, I hope House of the Dragon editors are listening to this and know that this could have been the horniest moment of the show. If
the greatest reward.
No,
it could have been their legacy.
No, of course. So I recommend watching it on your computer after this, or watching this scene, because you can see it pretty well on a computer, and it is hot, and Damon is so hot, and I love Matt Smith, and Matt Smith married me, and I'm rewatching Doctor Who right now, just so I can get to season 5 where Matt Smith comes in and is the Doctor. And
that is a devotion. 4 seasons.
And also, I just want to
Matt Smith less, just for him.
I know you think I could just start with season 5, but no, I have to watch all the way through. You guys,
this is your legacy.
Yes, this is my legacy. So this moment was my horniest moment of the week. I mean, there's really tight close-ups of them kissing. It's really hot, and then they have sex, and it's interesting. It's not the hottest sex that I feel like we've seen this season, which is why actual
it's on the beach.
Yeah, which is why the actual sex wasn't my horniest moment. But yeah, they finally bang. They bang. And she's like, okay, so Lizzy, she's in love with him, I guess, right? Is this like, she's like so in love with him.
Oh, yeah.
So like, interesting.
It's going both ways.
Yeah, he loves her too. This is very interesting.
It's so funny Jake said that. He was like, they're both into each other. And I was like, yeah, but he did kind of groom her.
No, he 100% groomed her. And like literally he was the one who like made her like feel feelings for the first time, literally.
Yeah,
and like
taking your like 16-year-old niece to the pillow house. I don't know.
Oh my god!
But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Clear,
it was fun.
It's not real.
It's not real. It's a make-believe show. It's dragons. Speaking of dragons,
I thought right here that Aemond was spying on Rhaenyra and Damon.
Me too.
And I was very worried.
Me
and
too.
I'm really glad that it wasn't. And they didn't ruin that moment in that way.
Agreed. Totally. We're on the same page. Love
and
that.
Aemond approaches the largest dragon, Vhagar, who is sleeping. Very scary. And Aemond, I don't know if he's just like, he's got that funeral rush, but he's just like, I'm fucking going for it. He gets on top of this dragon.
YOLO.
It seems very dangerous.
Oh my god!
But
Lizzy,
he holds on.
This was a pretty long sequence of flying, and I really enjoyed it. But wow, it was incredible how it just made my stomach drop. Like I have a lot of dreams where I'm flying and I can't
that is
control
not
the
where
plane.
I thought that was going.
And it's like this, it's basically this, what he's doing, like that feeling. And it's like, I find myself in the sky. I'm like, how am I flying? Like this is, and it scares me so much. And this is an amazing sequence. And I can't believe he held on. And he tamed the dragon. This is How to Tame Your Dragon, part 3. And he did it. And I was
gonna
surprised.
say it was like very Aladdin.
Oh, it was?
Magic carpet ride. Like
this is just
There's
Aladdin.
been a lot of Aladdin in House of the Dragon.
Yes.
But I also came up with a theory.
Mm-hmm.
And part of this was because I had spent so much time trying to fix my television. But I have a theory, which is maybe, like, this is a really long dragon shot. And I'm like, maybe the dragon CGI on this shot, like, looked like shit. And they wanted to mute it. So they were like, we're going to mute all these scenes around it. Do you like it?
I do like that theory. I will say, though, on the computer, it looks...
You're like, Lizzy, once again, I cannot tell you that it looks fine on the computer.
Because I have it pulled up, and I'm like, it looks pretty good, actually. But I remember the frustration of watching it. I remember that Game of Thrones frustration. So I do empathize
you
with
have
this.
empathy.
I have empathy.
You know how I might feel.
It's a horrible
I really
feeling.
did like the shot of the dragon flying past the moon, though. I thought that was really beautiful.
So beautiful.
And the Valyrian girls, they wake up. Someone stole Vagar, and they wake up their cousins.
Cute. I love this little team. I love this relationship. I think it's very cute.
Me too. Finally, Aemond comes in, and the girls are pissed, and they start yelling at him. And they're like, well, you should have claimed him if you wanted a dragon. And then bullies bully,
Yeah.
and Aemond,
And
who has been bullied.
Yes, literally, he
lot.
says the exact pig that he says that pig line. And thus,
Maybe your cousins can find you a pig to ride, and he says it would suit you. So he's like calling him ugly too, and like
not nice.
And then the girls start beating the shit out of him.
Thus ensues the craziest child fight to ever exist in TV or film. The most I've never, when it was happening, Lizzie, I was like, this must be like the first time children have. I've never seen children fight. I've just never seen children fight. I was like, what am I watching? Children are fight, and I'm
I
like,
guess you had a very happy childhood, Katherine.
I know this is.
I said that to my friend Court once, and he was like, we had physical fights in my high school all the time. He's like, I saw girls like pulling ponytails.
Interesting. Well, columns. I guess what I'm saying more, because that makes sense. But like this is sophisticated fight choreography. I guess like kids doing. Because I think it's even.
And they're really young.
They're young and they're doing like these moves that are like very sophisticated and like good at fighting. And I'm like, whoa, what is happening?
And they all have cool hair.
They're just like. It's a great fight scene. I will say this is like a really and it's very interesting because it's like you just don't usually see this. Like it's also very upsetting, and you're just like, oh no, like why is there not an adult here?
Yeah, when Aemond has the rock, it's
my god,
I was like,
so
is
scared.
One of the children gonna die?
I
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But they do the closest thing that shows do to children dying, which is Aemond loses this eye. He is sliced by Jace, who has pulled out a knife. After saying, you will die screaming in flames like your dad did, bastards. I missed that line. That line was important.
That was so crazy. Yes, it was. That was so sinister. I was like, wow, that's like, also he knows just like a lot. He just, wow, he's smart and sinister. And then Jace takes out a freaking knife, and that's when it goes fucking down. And him losing his eye was my goriest moment of the week. Did not like that. I don't like eye things. It freaks me out. It's another one of my fears. I will say, is like knives and eyes. Like I have a lot of fears. I guess this is just my fear episode. I get very.
Every time you think of a fear, you should say it on this podcast.
Fear alert. And then we have, I think, my favorite scene of the episode is coming up. Is next.
Yes. Oh my god, this scene. It's basically a huge family reunion. The after party.
We have, it's a lot of...
Everyone got too drunk and rowdy. And shit went down. And Viserys is like, how could you allow this to happen? He's saying to the knights. Yeah, and they're like, we never had to defend princes from princes before.
Yeah, they're kids. That's a lame excuse.
I wouldn't give any weapons to children.
Oh yeah, that they should have never, literally never. Kids with any. I worked at an aftercare for like good 7 months in the past year, and my God, you just 5-year-olds with weapons, like run, like just run.
Like I did. I actually spent most of my time running.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it was scary. Anyway, so we have a horrible shot of like the eye being sewed up. And
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, Rhaenyra comes in, goes to her children. Allison is distraught, which she has a right to be. I would be freaking the fuck out if my kid lost an eye. So I will say that for Allison. And
Oh, an Allison apology tour coming, huh?
I know.
Interesting, Katherine. I mean, first she slaps Aegon, the first person she blames for this.
That's a good point.
But she goes down the line.
Yes, that's a good point. And they're trying to figure out who should say who. Viserys is like, shut up, like, because everyone wants to tell their side of the story because we're dealing with children. And also, I will say, children are liars. Again, worked in aftercare. Children will lie. We love them for it, but they will. And
I love this. I love this backstory.
I'm like,
They
I am
will
an
lie and
ex-rel.
they will chase you around with weapons.
I am not on the children's side. And then Rhaenyra's like, oh, it was an accident. Like, but also, but Rhaenyra is like, there was fucking treason, bitch. Like, apparently.
She ups the ante
yeah.
here. She's like, I'm going to just fucking bring it up,
Yep.
lay it down on the table. They're like, they called us bastards. And Alicent is like, what, over an insult? My son has lost an eye. And Viserys is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this. Where did you hear this lie? And
My God,
Alicent
they all should get like
just,
a acting award. Viserys should get like an Oscar. He, not
Yeah.
like the character. He is doing. It's like, we know you know. It's so funny to see these characters
It's
do
like
that.
Viserys probably actually is blind at this point.
I know.
He is falling apart.
He is. He's clinging on to this with
He's
everything
like, yeah,
he
these
has.
look like my grandkids. I don't know. And they're all, Alicent and Viserys get in this fight. And Viserys is like, well, I can't restore his eye. When Alicent is like, that's insufficient, to say, just show goodwill. And Aemond blames Aegon. He says that that's where he heard it. And Viserys tries to just say, we're all a family. It's a family reunion. The great leader being embarrassing once again. He's telling Alicent, don't let your temper guide your judgment. And Alicent triples down herself and says, bring me the eye of Lucerys.
I
An
gasped.
eye for an eye.
Wow, literally an eye for an eye. Wow. This was really wild.
Wow.
That was surprising. And I honestly thought, and
Seems
then
like kind of a point of no return for their friendship.
it really is. And Sir Criston was gonna do it. I will put, he was game. he was like, if I was
finally
ordered
get to scoop these kids' eyeballs.
Yes, he was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Viserys is like, no, and anyone who questions the birth of them, they're gonna have their tongue removed.
Yeah, Rhaenyra played this well, I think. Rhaenyra or honestly, it's just like she did what she had to do. Like, she couldn't do anything other than being like, well, they called him a bastard. Like, he had a right to maim his face because that's treason, right? Everyone, it's treason. Remember,
Yeah.
it's treason.
I feel like she's manipulating this thing pretty well so far.
Yes, and Alicent knows.
We'll see what happens.
Yes, and Alicent fucking grabs a knife and comes at our girl. Obsessed. I loved this because I was like, how are we
horniest
heightening?
moment of
Because honestly, I was like, how are we? I was wondering once I realized they weren't going to take his eye, I was like, they still need to heighten this though. I felt like there was still one more place to go, and they went there, and they went with Alicent had to be the one to like literally put a knife in her friend's face. Like we've gone from like the pilot to here, like thinking about where we've come from in these 7 episodes. It's like they are
holding hands to drawing blood.
Yes, exactly.
Lap buddies, lying in each other's laps. This part is so interesting also because you see them kind of divide sides. Like Daemon goes over to Rhaenyra, Criston goes to Alicent, and Aemond is the smartest person in the room.
Yep.
He's like, don't mourn me, Mom. It's a fair exchange. I lost an eye, but I gained a dragon. And it's like, hello, why isn't anyone talking about that?
That's a very good point.
Like, they talk about dragons like they don't have that many of them. They're the most important thing for how they're in power.
Yeah.
I would think that that would be more of a thing that they were discussing, talking about.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's like I think Rhaenyra is just so afraid of the secret coming out. Like, that's all she cares about right now.
Yeah.
We'll probably get a scene later. I also, sorry, I want to talk about what they say, Rhaenyra, I forgot to say, Rhaenyra and Alicent, when they're having their knife exchange. I love the words that they say to each other: forever upholding the kingdom, the family, the law, while you flout all as you do, as you please. Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? It's trampled under your pretty foot again. And now you take my son's eye, and even that, to that you feel entitled. And then Rhaenyra is like exhausting and zen and hiding beneath the cloak of your own righteousness. But now they see you as you are. So what an
Damn.
interesting moment where Rhaenyra is. It's exactly what we've seen, right? The last 7 episodes. It's like Alicent has this like moral superiority, and Rhaenyra is
Yeah.
dealing with the realities of her world in the ways that she best can, or like I think the show is making us think that this is the best she can do with what the cards she's been dealt, and like following her heart and
Yeah,
stuff.
they were literally dealt husbands and had to
Exactly.
like deal with everything that came along with that.
Yes. And I think
And
Alicent must be so angry too that like she never had a love. Like she hasn't had sex for fun probably.
yeah, she got the old guy.
She got the old gross guy, and she just had to, and who won't die. Who
who
will not
literally
die.
won't die.
Also, Alicent cuts the freaking princess, cuts her arm. Also forgot to say, which is pretty
Important.
pretty important, and can't go back on that.
No.
That happened, and I think that's when she's like, "Fuck, that happened." Also, Alicent's hair is amazing in this scene. I will say, I want to know her curly girl routine.
The hair is so good on this
So
show.
good. I love it.
I love it. Like, yeah, Rhaenyra had some like braided updo in the funeral that was so gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. I love.
And we would do that if we were invited.
Yes, if only they invited us.
Look,
Yes,
we
I
can do
promise
it.
you.
We
I wouldn't just
know how
flat
to
iron
work
my
TikTok. We can figure it out.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, what an absolutely chaotic scene, and I truly feel like we've been building to this point in their friendship or their relationship rather, and this is just the tipping point. It's like you can't come back from the eye thing.
Yeah.
Really.
This is
And she's fundamentally blaming her for her unhappiness.
Yeah. This is gonna get. I'm excited to see where this is gonna go, because this is only gonna get worse before it gets better, if it gets better.
I love the posters that are just Alicent and
Me
Rhaenyra that I've been
too.
seeing
It's just
around the city
this
too.
is what the show's about, and I love it. I love this. I feel like we just don't really see this like complicated girl friendship, like slash turned enemies.
Yeah. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
Damon goes and checks on Rhaenyra's arm. Kriston checks on Alicent after this fight. And then we see this scene between Otto and Alicent in Alicent's room. And this scene was also so good. This was my favorite scene.
This
No.
was a great scene.
This was a great scene,
It
though.
was so good.
And I think they're both like, I love both of their characters. And Alicent is like, say your piece. I conducted myself badly, assaulted a princess. Everyone's spreading gossip that I've gone mad. And I've ensured Viserys is always going to choose Rhaenyra. And Otto's like, actually, that was so hot. I've never seen that side of you. Doubted his existence. Like, yes. Knife a bitch.
See, that was the best recap of that scene that could have possibly gone.
Thank you.
so
As
funny.
long as you keep your fingernails up and like,
And he's like, we got a
doing great.
dragon, bitch. We got a fucking dragon. Your
Yeah.
son is the best. Wow.
And Alicent says that side of her was an ugly thing, and Otto says we play an ugly game, and now I see you have the determination to win it. the Game of Thrones, you see.
I'm obsessed with how now it's so good how he's like, yes, now that I've seen she has no chance, Lizzie. Like it sucks because she has no chance. She is just too influenced by evil. Like didn't want Sir Harwin to die, but fucking creepy Kane,
It's a
dude.
slippery slope.
It's like was
when
like, well, I'm
you
doing it. These men just like with these men want her. They're like, yes, no. She's like, that was a bad part of me. He's like, no, it was a great part of you. Like, be evil. She has no chance.
Yeah, she's definitely seems to be taking a hard turn.
Hard turn.
And Otto, of course, because this man is all about this shit, says Aemon getting Vhagar was worth 1,000 times the price he paid. He's like, I'm just seeing math equations here, and we're plus from this situation. There's nothing bad.
That's so true.
And yeah, he's like, you're a socio like me. Hooray.
Hooray.
And in the next scene, we see Rhaenyra's arm getting stitched up, and Laenor comes in. Is everyone all right? LOL.
So funny. Everyone, they're like, yeah, not a lot happened.
Is everyone all right? Literally, his child has a broken, bloody nose. Rhaenyra's arm is getting stitched up, a sword dagger.
I love him. Oh, he's so clueless. We love him. He's just, well, he's sad about his sister, but oh boy, does he just like, it's the same attitude
he has
he
an
had.
excuse.
It's the same attitude he had when she like gave birth. He goes, "Oh, was it bad?" Like, he's just very consistent. And then we have an interesting, sweet scene between Laenor and Rhaenyra. And Rhaenyra's like, he called our sons bastards, and Laenor's like, I failed you, Rhaenyra. Our marriage. And he's like, I tried, and I really do love the boys. Like, I really love them. He's like, I wish the gods hadn't made me this way. And then she was like, no, like, you're good and sweet, and you're strong, and and she always it was just so sweet that she was like, I wanted to bury your children, and it's just, I don't know, it was a very nice conversation. Moment.
Yeah, it seems like they have like a great open marriage.
I know, exactly.
But they talk about it, and Laenor's like, our deal, about doing the fake husband thing. I don't know if we can be happy and fake this. And Carl's going to the Stepstones, but I want to recommit to you, raise the sons to be princes of the realm. You deserve better. And we cut to the horse-drawn carriages riding away. And it's Alicent and Viserys, and she's once again putting a blanket on him. She says they'll have wine for you on the ship. I want to say he's on death's door, but who knows?
I think he might live forever.
He might outlast all of them. He might be the White Walker that is in Game of Thrones. I've seen that meme.
That's so funny. That's hilarious. Oh my god.
And she's like, I'm so sorry. He says, don't speak more of it. He is very good at compartmentalizing.
He is. I will say that is a strength. Of all his weaknesses, that's a strength. Yeah, I feel like so many of his conversations with Alicent is him being like, don't say it. Don't talk about that thing. And she's like, but what about this thing? He's like, I've told you not to say it. Which
just let me play with my toys. That's all I want to do. Just leave me alone.
Retire. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's like when you have that big of an age gap, he wants to take it slow and easy. Sit on the porch, and she's like, I want to fuck shit up.
I want to fuck everything up. I want to just cause a war. Let's just do it.
We see Corlys and Rhaena looking out the windows of the ship leaving. 3 dragons leaving now at the end of this very tough funeral. Weddings and funerals in this show,
a lot.
They're messy.
Yes, they are.
They're violent.
We have Rhaenyra and Daemon having a little cliffside lookout talk where you don't look at the other, but you talk out to the sea. I feel like these kinds of shows
Oh, a
have a lot of
cliffside
that. A
talk.
cliffside talk where you just don't look, you just look out at the sea and then you talk. They're talking about the sea and Valerians, and I was like, okay, just kiss, come on. Uh, and then we have Laris
Yes.
and Alicent, and Laris being creepy AF as always. He's, if it's an eye you want, like to balance the scales, I am your servant. Alicent looks at him like, dude, stop offering to hurt people for me. She's like, that will not be necessary. But your devotion has not gone unnoticed. And, so she wants to keep him, she's like, don't
She wants
take
to keep
the
him
eye,
hovering.
but please, come on, The day will doubtless come when I require such a friend, with not only skill but discretion as well. So Alicent is officially on the dark side. She is capable. The thing that Rhaenyra said earlier this episode, we got our answer. She is capable, and she is gonna go deeper. And again, yeah, our girl did not have a chance. Then we cut back to Rhaenyra and Daemon, and Rhaenyra is just like in love with him. She's like, I need you, uncle, which is like gross but cute.
Gross but cute. Like this whole relationship.
This whole relationship, like, she loves him, and they speak High Valyrian to each other because that's like that's their thing. Let us bind our blood, just as
Like
Aegon the
Aegon did
Conqueror.
with his sisters. And this was my should I have read the book moment of the week. I mean, I feel like we probably should have known this. Like, they are always talking about this Aegon the Conqueror guy. Like, it's the main history person they want to talk about. And I did not know until this scene that he had married, I guess, multiple of his sisters.
This was also my should I have read the book moment of the week. Because yeah, I guess we were always finding new information about him, but I was like, oh, okay. Gross. I mean, yeah, I guess he started the tradition of keeping the bloodlines close, as they say. Yeah, but they, she's basically like, we were always meant to burn together. So she thinks they're fated. She's like completely in love with him.
And he would help her, she says. She's like, if you were my husband and Prince, okay, I wrote Sonrat. What does that mean? Consort. Okay. If you are my husband and my prince consort, people wouldn't challenge my claim as much. So she's like, it's a win-win. Yeah. We like to bang and we're going to get power. Yeah. And Damon's like, we can't marry unless Laenor is dead. And Rhaenyra says, I know. And we cut off of this scene. And I was like, are Alicent and Rhaenyra going to the dark side in the same episode?
I know. I thought that too.
It's terrifying.
And then Daemon, in his ominous hood, his secret disguise, has honestly this scene he had with Carl was like, I was like, Carl with the Q. I was like, this was gonna be my horniest moment of the week, because I'm just saying it was pretty a hot conversation about a secret plan.
It was certainly hotter than it needed to be. And Daemon, like, he had a little moment with, like, the server during the, like, dinner with Laena in the last episode, too. There was, like, an odd, like,
Yeah.
I think Daemon...
He, like, grabs his arm. Daemon is just, like...
definitely a bisexual.
He is. He's, like, pan. He just goes with the flow. Like, pan. I love it. He gives him gold, and Daemon then snaps the neck of a boy, while a monologue happens.
I did not understand what this meant.
I didn't either. I was confused. And
In fact, I
then,
forgot it happened until you just said it.
yes.
Because I was like, where did they get that body?
It took me, I rewinded that a couple times too. So Laner comes in and starts a fight with lover boy Carl. And
Yeah, and it's in front of one other guy.
another guy who I thought was the guy who
And-
died before, but he's not.
Yeah.
And he's like, you forget yourself, and they draw their swords, and the servant is like, oh shit, okay, I'll go get people. And then there's fighting, and then they bring back the guards, and there's a burnt body in the freaking fire, and the poor parents have to grieve another child.
Yeah, and we keep cutting back between this scene with Rhaenyra and Daemon saying, "Oh, they'll think we're tyrants, and they'll fear what else we'll be capable of."
Exactly.
And I was like, "Is Laenor dead? Are they really gonna kill off all of the gay characters?" And we suddenly see more carved blood on Rhaenyra's fingers, but this time it's on purpose. It is the blood of Daemon and Rhaenyra mixing together at the Rhaenyra and Daemon wedding, and their children are there, and it's a very small wedding, and they make out and they eat each other's blood, and this was my horniest moment of the week.
Oof, yeah. This was a definitely very horny wedding. Very horny,
Yeah.
intimate wedding, where it was wow.
It's very fire and blood.
It's very
They're fire.
very
they're
fired is very
blood,
fine. That was a good point, Lizzie.
Was it?
It is.
Thank you.
And they love each other.
I
And it's
love
really
you.
cute. And Matt Smith is cute, and I love him. And
I love the part of the episode when you say that.
and then we see footsteps running on the beach, and we see cute Carl, and we see Laenor with his head shaved. And honestly, this was going to be my horniest moment of the week, because this was a strong contender. Like them looking at each other, and he's like, "We're free," and they're like, "Yeah." Now,
Yeah, they were in on it. Maybe. Okay, I was like, did Laenor know that Rhaenyra was in on this? I was like very confused.
right? Yes,
Did they all conspire?
I think they almost. Yeah, I think they all conspired.
Yeah, they must have, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I was very happy about that, and that made that. And yes, Laenor gets to have the life he wants. Everyone's happy except for the parents. Except for the parents. Sorry.
That was what I was just lingering on. I was happy, and then I was like, this is so fucked up to do the parents.
Oh, it's so fucked up. Like they have no children now. It's pretty fucked.
Did we have a misogynist moment of the week?
That's what I forgot. My misogynist moment of the game was when Corlys was like, "No, we can't give Driftwood to Bela." It's like,
Yes.
come on, like get with it. Rhaenyra is queen or gonna be queen. Come on.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going so hard that his wife should have been queen.
Yeah.
It's like
I guess maybe it was more
that
about his
again
son,
is
still.
like
I
it's a
didn't like
power thing. It's a P word, pride.
P-word pride.
Pride. You gotta have that legacy. What else is he doing it for?
It's like Hamilton. Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. I wrote some notes in a song someone will sing for me. I forgot.
Keep going.
Oh, America, you great unfinished symphony, you sent for me.
This is a great end credits for this episode.
Do you want to?
My name is Alexander Hamilton. Just you wait. Just you wait.
Oh my god.
Great episode.
Love this
Perhaps the
episode.
best episode of the entire season.
Yes.
And I just saw some news that they're not even going to start filming until March of next year.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So I'm like,
Why?
when are we going to get season 2?
Oh,
Never.
that's gonna be. Oh, that's upsetting. March of next year.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
But we will be back next Monday.
We will.
Apologies for the delay on this episode. That was my fault.
I mean, you guys will enjoy it. Just maybe everyone else also like just watched it today too. So I'm sure a lot of people, and then it'll be perfect timing. I'm sure there'll be someone where it's a perfect timing. They're gonna finish the episode and see it on their Spotify.
Oh my God, you're so right. Such an optimist.
But thank you guys so
And I'm
much.
absolutely delirious. It's like 5 a.m. for me.
I know. Thank you, Lizzy,
No,
and
7 a.m.
I know. And thank you for doing this podcast with me, Lizzy, and thank you everyone for
love it.
listening. And please rate us and on iTunes.
Tell a friend.
And tell a friend.
Tell a friend about the pod. Subscribe. Rate.
Tell us if you like. If you like it, please tell us. If you don't like it, don't tell us. But if you do like it, let us know because
Yeah, please just don't say anything.
if you
there's
don't like it,
anything
just
negative.
don't listen again.
Don't listen again. That is the dream.
But
Please.
if you do
No.
like it, it really means the world. And please tell us because it makes us happy because this is a new podcast we're starting out. This is Katherine asking for validation.
Sound off in the comments if you agree with Katherine's horoscope reading for
Yes, let's talk about it.
Helena.
Yes, please. Oh my
Who I hope will
God.
become a more major character.
I agree. I think she's going to save it. That's my prediction. She's going to save the show. But yeah, fire and blood.
And peace and love.
Bye.
Bye. I love you.
Love you.